Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Operation Dumbo Drop. This is a Disney film. For some reason I may have thought it was a 20th Century Fox film, but no. It's one of those 1995 feel-good Vietnam-era films involving an elephant and a pretty sizable cast, well, not sizable, but a pretty prominent cast for the 90s. Stars Ray Liotta, why can't I say Danny Glover, Dennis Leary, and let's see, Dougie Doug, yeah, Dougie Doug, and Corin Nemec. I didn't realize, yeah, that was one of the other soldiers, one of the main characters. But yeah, we get a pretty decent cast here. This is an hour and 49 minutes long, and back in the 80s, we spent a lot of time sort of recovering from the Vietnam War through film. I mean, beyond MASH, which, yes, it was set during the Korean War. It started in 1975 and went through the 80s for like 11 seasons, I think. That was America's way of dealing with the Vietnam War through television. In the 80s, we had The Thin Red Line and Platoon and God knows how many other films over the years that dealt with the Vietnam War in a very dark way. This is a film that's inspired by a true story, filmed in Thailand, not in Vietnam, but the terrain is pretty much the same. And it's it's hot, it's humid, it's sweaty, and there's an elephant in almost every shot for a majority of the film. So it follows a cast of Green Berets. Two of them are Green Berets, Danny Glover and the late great Ray Liotta. So Ray's coming in to take the place of Danny Glover's character, and he's hoping that it's going to be a really important thing. They're kind of guarding an important village somewhere along the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and along the way, he gets the attention of the North Vietnamese army, the Viet Cong, and turns out, well, an elephant gets killed, and it's put upon the soldiers to replace it, find a new one. Well, they find it's not exactly easy. So they have to first get an elephant with the help of Dennis Leary, who is an acquisition, kind of, a guy he's the guy who gets things for everybody, and he has all the connections. He's not a guy who puts his boots out in the wild. He sits behind a desk. But he's recruited into this mission, along with two others, Dougie Doug and Corin Nemec. Dougie Doug, of course, is pretty much a ball of nervous energy and is the comic relief throughout all of this, while Ray Liotta is very much straight line. He's by the book. Danny Glover is sort of the old soul who's like, I'm almost out of here. He's I'm getting too old for this stuff, kind of Lethal Weapon style. But he's been there, seen that, and he's about ready to leave. Dougie Doug is also just like him. He's about ready to leave. He's got a week to go, and he is terrified of even leaving his tent. But yet he gets called on this mission. He's just afraid he's gonna get killed at some point. So there's just some somewhat dark themes throughout this. I mean, along the way, they also, as part of this whole mission, they end up taking on a child. His name is Lin, and he sort of acts as their connection to the elephant because he knows how to control the elephant. He has a strong connection with him, and he also is an orphan. He was killed in the fighting. By the way, James Hong shows up as a village elder where they get the elephant. He is not Vietnamese, but apparently they're interchangeable, as far as I know. He's Chinese, I'm pretty sure. Just Hong sounds more. Hey, I don't. You know what? I don't know. If I'm completely wrong, you can tell me in the comments. I am open to be corrected about this. I am not the expert about James Hong's origins, but James Hong, of course, he shows up because he's got to be in every film. He's fantastic, and he does provide some comic relief in this as well. But the child, Lin, he's the kid who's kind of missing a family. And through this, of course, he kind of gains one, where these guys don't trust him at all, because there's a really good chance that the American army, the U.S. Army, is responsible for his family's deaths. They're not really sure about this. It kind of leads to some tension. But the boy is attached to the elephant. He comes along, even though the guys don't like it. And, well, you have to watch the film to find out how it all unfolds. They try to transport him by plane, by land, by boat, and of course, in the end, which is indicated by the title, Operation Dumbo Drop, well, how are you going to get an elephant into a hot zone that is, surrounded by enemies, and there's no real clear place to land a plane? There's a little few details in this that I realize that more than likely, while this is inspired by a true story, there's some things that happen in this that really did not happen in real life, could not have happened. If it did happen in real life, let's just say all of our heroes would be in jail, and they would have been dishonorably discharged. Let's just say that. But all told, it's a family movie. It's a comedy. It's got strong emotional underpinnings, underlying themes and things like that about this kid is looking for a family. These guys are looking to complete a mission. They all have their reasons for being there, and there are reasons for not being there. And will they pull together in the end? Well, come on. They're going to pull together in the end to save the elephant and get him where he needs to go. Will they all survive? It's a Disney film, so yeah, you can take a wild stab in the dark at this. It is the least dark Vietnam film you can probably watch. I'm pretty sure of that. I can't think of... sure, there's Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams just doing his radio thing in that film. But that's still, I think, a lot more realistic I think it's also great. I haven't watched that film in decades. So, yeah. And by the way, I thought I saw this film. I have to mark this down as something I haven't seen before. I remember seeing the trailers over and over and over again. In the 90s, but I don't think I saw it, because none of this rings a bell unless I just erased it from my memory. It's just really strange. So I'm going to say, yeah, this is my first time watching it, and I recommend it. Yeah, if you want something that's it has a very 90s kind of look to it. It's a good action adventure, but it's family friendly. It's bloodless. Yes, there is some unnamed characters who die, but you do not see it. It's off-camera stuff. So yeah, there's violence. It's war, and it's at the core of it. The most tension-filled part of this is the fact that this child is working with a bunch of soldiers who he may blame for the death of his family. So. But you'll have to watch the film to find out how that all unfolds. So yeah, I'd say check it out if you like this kind of thing, and if you miss Ray Liotta. So let's pick tomorrow's episode.
308.
300. We can't get out of this 300 area. This low 300s, high 200s. 308. Okay. The other day we dealt with Bear Grylls taking Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, on an adventure in Panama, in the jungles. Well, we get a different adventure this time, doing a documentary series, doing some renovations. Yep, Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye, is going to take us through some home renovations. He's doing his carpentry. So, well, I guess I'm assuming that it's carpentry. I can't imagine he's picking out chandeliers or whatever. But we'll find out. Renovations. We'll watch I think it's a series. I'm pretty sure it's a series. We'll watch one episode, and I can't imagine that's like a documentary movie. It's a series. So we'll watch one episode, and I'll be back here to talk about that tomorrow. Renovations on the Disney Plus Everyday Talent Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.